Hi everyone, and welcome to today's quick little tutorial on how to create QR codes in InDesign. I have the full Creative Cloud suite, so I tend to convert my QR codes into vector files. Vector files are essentially files that utilize equations for its structure and how it looks versus pixels. So the plus side to doing a vector file is the fact that no matter how big or how small it is, it will always be crisp and clear. If you utilize pixel-based art, especially for QR codes, if you go too big or too small, it'll wind up degrading and looking blurry, and you won't be able to get a clear scan for a phone to be able to recognize. I am going to be using InDesign and Illustrator. Currently, I am running the 2024 version of these programs, so some things might be slightly different for newer versions. But yeah, so we're just going to dive on in. So the first thing you do is you create a new file. We don't need anything special because we are just literally looking to grab the QR code. I'm just going with the basic letter setup of 8.5 by 11, and we're just going to hit OK, whatever it comes up with, because like I said, we're just looking for the QR file. So we don't need necessarily to save the InDesign file. Now, I have not been able to find a way to create QR codes in any other of the Adobe programs. I've only been able to figure out how to do this in InDesign, so there might be a faster way to do this in Illustrator itself. If there is, feel free to drop that in the comments. I have not been able to find it, so we're just moving forward with the way that I know how to do it. What we're going to do is come on up to the Object drop-down menu and come on down to Generate QR Code. Now, you have a ton of different options. Most people are probably going to want to go with web hyperlink. I've yet to do any of the others because I've only created QR codes for my website, for my Kickstarters, and for my beacons link, which I will show you in a moment. So you click web hyperlink, and what you'll do is you will paste your URL directly into that box. Beacons is basically a link tree program. I like them because of the fact that even their free version allows you to do a lot of flexibility and customization of what the look and feel of your kind of landing page looks like. So I'm just coming over here, I'm copying my link, and we're going to paste it. Now, I utilize keyboard shortcuts, so I just utilized Control V, which is paste, hitting OK, and it generates a QR code. Now, I tend to then copy this QR code. Again, now you have two different options. You can do Control C, which is your keyboard shortcut, or you can come up to the Edit drop-down, and you can click Copy, whichever is easier for you. Now I'm going to come on over into my Adobe Illustrator, which is already open. We're just going to do New File, and I'm going to go ahead, and I tend to just do 1500 by 1500 pixels whenever I'm doing a square-based logo or piece of art, or in this case, a QR code. So I click Create, and it just goes ahead and brings up a good old-fashioned square template for us. You can either come on over to your Edit drop-down and do Paste, or as it shows here, you have Control V. I'm just going to do Control V. Now, it obviously comes in super small, not necessarily huge. Now, this is already vectorized. So no matter how big or how small we go, it's going to be nice and clear. With it being vectorized, it means that each of these little blocks is their own separate thing. Now, we don't necessarily want that. We want this to be all one thing if we can. So you can group your QR code. That way then, no matter how you click this, it's always going to grab all of those little boxes. Now you can access the group option via this little shortcuts menu, or you have over here on your properties, down at the bottom you have quick actions, and group and ungroup tends to be one of your quick action options. As we're going to be expanding this to its maximum size. So what I've done is I just clicked Shift and grabbed my top and my bottom transform tools. And I've just dragged it out to the edge of what's called the artboard. That's what this white board is called. So now that it's been set to the 1500 by 1500 pixels, I'm going to go ahead and save this and export it as a PNG so that it will have a transparent background. So now that it's been saved as a Illustrator file, we have a couple different options on how we can kind of export this to be utilized in Photoshop, in InDesign, and in wherever you need it to be. I tend to wind up needing my QR codes more often than not in Photoshop when I'm creating banners or business cards or bookmarks, whatever promotional material it is that I'm trying to create. So frequently, I will actually copy this and paste it directly into whatever my art file is in Photoshop to retain that vector file ability of expanding and decreasing down to whatever size I need it to be and retaining its crisp nature. When you export this file at the 1500 by 1500 resolution, that will limit your pixelization. So in my opinion, it's always best to grab the vector file itself from either the Illustrator file, or you can save the file as an EPS file. Now, if you are ever looking to have a file embroidered or put onto any form of promotional material that isn't print, so we're talking like t-shirts or hats or anything of that nature, you're going to want to send an EPS file to your printer. It will let them be able to open it in any of their programs and allow them to size it accordingly. And like I said, there will be no degradation of the shape itself. At the end of the day, what we are going to show you is how to export your file if you don't know how to do it. So you come on down to export and export as. It will automatically want to export your file into the same folder where your base file, where your raw file is located, whether that is an Illustrator file or an EPS file. PNG, like I said, is the one you're going to want to choose if you want a transparent background. If you don't want a transparent background, you will choose a JPEG. However, I strongly suggest keeping a transparent background for your QR code so that it can always go on anything. Because you can always come on in and you can change the color of your QR code by coming over to your fill option and choosing a black or a white or any color in between to meet your needs. I tend to just stick with black and white. I find that that's the most economical, but if you have a brand and a brand color, you can always go ahead and apply that to your QR code if you so choose. So we're going to go ahead and export this and just hit export. Choose your resolution as high. 300 ppi is what you're going to want whenever possible. So you're going to click OK, and now it's done. You now have a QR code that has been saved as a PNG, and you can utilize it however you need to. If you happen to have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. And if you are interested in learning more about me and the books that I write, you can check out susanlmarkloff.com. Thank you so much, and I hope that this was beneficial for you. Have a great day.